Hey guys, what's up? It's Charlie here, and today we're going to be looking at 10 famous logos then and now. So, logos are everywhere, and the chances are if you look around the room you're in right now, you'll see at least one. But some of these companies have been around for a while, and they've changed their logos, sometimes so much that now the old ones are unrecognizable. So guys, be sure to like the video and subscribe, and comment I subscribed and I will reply. So coming in at number 10 we have McDonald's. So we all know McDonald's today because they're one of the biggest companies in the world. But McDonald's is a really old company that was actually founded in 1940. And back then, the red and yellow logo that we all know today would be way too flashy. So this was the original McDonald's logo, which was a black and white winking hamburger holding a sign. And this was also featured on the first ever McDonald's restaurant, with the hamburger holding a sign that says 15 cents because that's what they used to charge for a burger. Yeah, kind of a false advertisement now. But anyway, this hamburger was a McDonald's mascot way before the Hamburglar or Ronald McDonald. But he was gone by 1962 as the McDonald's logo changed, and now we have the red and yellow arches that we all know and love. Well, unless you're vegetarian. But coming up next we have Apple. So Apple is known for their sleek and modern logo that reflects their sleek and modern products. But Apple was founded in 1976 and their products weren't always so sleek. And if you thought their old computer was weird, then check out their old logo. That's right, this cluttered logo was what Apple used to use back when it was first created by Steve Jobs. And the image is of Isaac Newton, who was the guy who discovered gravity after an apple fell on his head. So yeah, the apple in the Apple logo is a reference to that. And this logo isn't very well known because Apple only used it for 1 year. And then Apple went straight on to using just the apple, and have so far been through 6 different versions of that logo. And to be honest, I'm glad they changed it. I mean, can you imagine this on your iPhone? But coming up next we have Nintendo. So we all know Nintendo is a Japanese company, but because it's so popular around the world, they made the company name more English sounding so it appeals to a wider audience. But their logo used to look like this, a white background with 2 red triangles on both sides, and Nintendo written in Japanese. Is it just me, or does this look exactly like the Marlboro logo? Maybe that's why they changed it. Nah, but seriously guys, this logo is so different to how it is now. In fact, I bet if you ask someone who's into gaming what the logo is of, even they would be baffled. But coming up next is Starbucks. So we all know how recently the Starbucks logo has changed quite a bit, and they're basically making it simpler and simpler every single time. And like the Apple one, if you look at their first logo, it was very cluttered and complicated, and it was actually brown, not green. And it featured the mermaid that we all know today, but the original logo had the mermaid's body as well as her face. And it also had the mermaid's breasts on show, which is something that Starbucks had to get rid of in their new logos to make it more mainstream and less offensive. But yeah guys, this is the progression of the Starbucks logos, and it really does seem like they lose a feature every single time. Okay, I'm calling it now, this is going to be the Starbucks logo in a few years. But coming up next we have Twitter. So even though Twitter is one of the most visited websites in the world right now, most people don't know that right now Twitter is spelled Twitter, but when the company was first formed in 2006, it was spelled Twttr. So it used to be called Twitter to make it sound more casual. But a year later in 2007, they changed it to Twitter. And if you guys don't believe me, check out the first ever tweet from Twitter's creator Jack Dorsey, which actually says, "Just setting up my Twitter." And obviously with that name, they needed a logo to match. And so the first ever Twitter logo was this really ugly green text. And in case you guys can't see, the R is supposed to be a bird with a beak. I know, I didn't get it either at first. But yeah guys, I think it's a really good idea that they changed their name and made their logo look less radioactive. But coming up next we have Burger King. So this is probably one of the most dramatic logo changes on this entire list. And today the Burger King logo is the words Burger King in a bun with a blue stripe around it, but it used to be a lot more complicated and in my opinion a lot cooler, because the old logo used to be a fat king sitting on top of a giant hamburger holding a giant Coke. And when I first saw this, I thought it was a drawing of a king, but no, this was their actual logo. And I can see why they changed it, because the new one looks a lot more sleek and clean. But then again, the old one is pretty cool and maybe a bit more interesting. And a fun fact about this logo is that it used to be on a massive sign outside the first ever Burger King that opened in Miami in 1959. But coming up next we have Lego. So when we look at the Lego logo now, we think of the fun and bright colors, but if you checked out the logo from 1935 when it was first founded, you wouldn't exactly think of fun. This gothic logo is what Lego used when they first created it, and it looks kind of creepy in my opinion, but back then it was much more normal and they didn't have all of these newfangled things like color. But yeah guys, here's the progression of the logo, and I think they've made some very good improvements. But then again, the original logo would reflect my feeling when I step on a Lego brick, because I feel like dying when that happens, and I know this has happened to all of you guys out there before. But coming up next we have Snapchat. So even though Snapchat is a fairly new company founded in 2011, it actually has had a logo change before. So we all know Snapchat's famous ghost, which looks pretty clean and simple, but back in 2011 the logo was a little bit more friendly, because the famous ghost logo had a face with its tongue sticking out, kind of like the ghost emoji, and it also had a reflective metallic background instead of of just a plain yellow background. And I think that I prefer the new one just because it looks a lot cleaner. But then again, most people don't even know about the original logo because it was only used back when Snapchat was first starting out and not that many people knew about the app. But coming up next we have Firefox. So Mozilla Firefox is one of the most popular internet browsers in the world with billions of users, and today it follows the standard logo shape for an internet browser, that being a circle. But the old one looks very weird in its shape and it's also kind of creepy. They used to use this huge fiery bird as their logo, which doesn't really make sense because it's Firefox, not Firebird. And the logo can't have been that successful because they only used it in 2002 when they started the company, and then in 2003 they changed it to pretty much what it is now. And after that, Firefox have been through 7 different ones which are all pretty similar to their logo today. And to be honest, I think this should be the new Firefox logo. Looks great, doesn't it? And coming up next we have Doritos. So we all know the famous Doritos triangle logo, which resembles the shape of their potato chips. But they've been around since 1964, and in that time they've had a lot of different logos. In fact, out of all of the companies on this list, they've probably had the most logo changes. And to be honest, I really like their first logo, which is yellow and orange squares with Doritos written on them, which I think looks way more like a Mexican family restaurant than a chip company, but it's still pretty cool even if their logo today does look a little bit more professional. And this is their logo progression, and as you can see, they've been through 8 different logos, and they've had their current one for nearly 4 years now, so it looks like they're due for an update. But that just about wraps up this video. Check out the poll in the top right corner and you guys can vote for the coolest old logo. But as always, thanks for watching. Check out some more videos on screen right now. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe.